So, welcome everyone. Welcome to KAIST 1. Ooh, can I get it? Thank you. Thank you all for coming. This is the first KAIST 1 of this semester. As you know, it's KAIST 1 Russia, and I'd like to thank the team of Russia for all the effort that they have put into these events. Can we? I hope you guys enjoy the events as much as you can. We have presentation, we have performance, we have quiz. You know you don't want to miss the gifts. You have to concentrate very well to win the quiz gifts. And we have food. So I hope everyone enjoys the event. I'd like, of course, to thank ISSS for all the efforts that they put into this event and helping the international community in general. And please welcome with me Mr. Lee from ISSS. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's too loud. Good to see you again. How are you? Good, good. How's your winter break? Excellent. Okay. Let me see. The weather is getting quite warm, and hopefully, in a couple of weeks, we can see another such a beautiful cherry blossom throughout the whole campus. Okay. So, welcome back to school. I know. I assume that some of you are already somewhat worried about your mid and final exams. Okay, but or some of you are enjoying sort of new term gatherings with your classmates and laboratory colleagues, drinking a lot of soju. Is it right? Okay, I'm here today to advertise some upcoming school-wide events in relation to its new vision for 2031. Actually, last year, the KAIST Vision Committee was in operation under the control of the President. And on next Tuesday, the school is going to unveil its new vision at the Vision Declaration ceremony. But also, school has designated the entirety of next week as Vision Week, and will present various different kinds of events like the Global Leaders Forum, the drone show, or the AI World Cup. But the most special event that I'd love to advertise today, in particular for our international students, is Vision Week KAIST 1. Basically it's a KAIST 1 event, but it consists of 6 different countries, like China, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. And the thing is, each KAIST 1 booth will provide their traditional food for free. So, wow, okay. Thank you. So, don't forget to join these events. It will start at 12 noon on Tuesday of next week on the grass field in front of E11 building. Okay, and there will be a raffle prize as well. We will distribute raffle prize between 12:45 to 1 o'clock. We will distribute a raffle coupon to those who visit the KAIST 1 booth. And the Huda, Mr. Huda will be the MC of the entire event, including KAIST one, flea markets, and food truck. And we'll also try to give you as many raffle coupons as we have. So you guys should be the winner of the raffle prize. Okay? All right? Yeah, this is it. And again, indeed, I really hope you guys have a great springtime. Okay, thank you.
Okay, hi guys. Today we're going to tell you about the wonderful country of Russia. As far as we know, this is the first time Russia has been presented on KAIST 1, so you're very lucky to come here. Russia is a very mysterious country because it's large, however you don't know that much about it. So by the end of this session, you'll be professional in terms of Russian geography, culture, whatever. Also during this session we'll have a lot of quizzes and we prepared great presents for you. You are very welcome to participate. Every attempt will be graded with an amazing gift. Yeah. So let's start with geography. If I now ask you, what do you know about Russian geography, you would probably say that this is a huge gap between Europe and Korea. However, let's deep into details. As you know, Russia is the largest country in the world. This 17 million number probably doesn't tell you anything. However, it is 1/8 of the total inhabited area of the Earth. You can say that Russia is everywhere. It takes 1/3 part in both Europe and in Asia. So now when you have some idea about our area, try to guess how many South Koreas fit in Russia. Okay. You're welcome. Yeah.
340.
Nope. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Okay, another interesting question. Russia can even be compared with some planets. So the area of Russia is the same size as the surface area of this planet. What planet is it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Pluto? Isn't it Pluto?
Yeah. However, Pluto is not considered to be a planet. But it's to give you an idea. Okay. Also, Russia has 11 time zones. So every Russian person has a very strange desire to travel across the country and celebrate New Year 11 times consecutively. Yeah, we even have such a movie where they managed to do that. Yeah, and one more interesting fact. Russia is larger than the whole Africa. Do you think it's true? Okay. Yeah, can you tell why? Yeah, you're right. So Russia is about about like 1.5 times smaller than Africa. It's because of the map. Also, Russia is an extreme country. You can think of this word in a very good manner. Yeah, Russia has a lot of temperature records, and try to guess what is the minimum temperature ever recorded in Russia. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Did you say 90, did you say 89? No. Yeah, it's minus. Yeah. Yeah, this village is called village. No. Raise your hand. Yeah. No. This village is called Village of Amikon. We call it Pole of Cold. It's situated really far from Moscow. So this is pretty much how it looks like. Yeah, that's the valley of Amikon and the city. Yeah, they even have horses there. And the Russian truck. It's a normal situation over there. Yeah, so, and the highest temperature recorded in Russia is 45 degrees. So that, this means that Russia has the largest maximum temperature difference, which is 116 degrees. Just imagine these numbers. Yeah, Russia also is a very diverse country. When you move from north to south, you can see a significant change of landscapes, plants, animals. This is called climate zones. So this is the map of climate zones. Look at the left, we'll go through from the north to the south, in the European part. So this is Arctic desert. It's normal desert, but with snow instead of sand. This is tundra, huge areas without any trees, covered with moss. This is taiga. I think you all think that Russia looks like this. Yeah, this is broadleaf forests. Yeah, this is where Moscow is situated. If you go like 100 kilometers, you'll see this covered during a lot of area. This is steppe, also huge areas, but warmer. And desert. Yeah. And also this Mediterranean zone. And there's an interesting fact that Russian Olympics in Sochi were held in this zone, somewhere in the mountains. So we have the whole country of snow. However, we decided to take Winter Olympic Games here. Yeah, Russia is the greenest country. Almost one half of the area is covered with forests. And there is a very famous Russian tree called Russian birch. It's a tree with a black and white bark. Yeah, and Russia is the bluest country. Russia has 12 seas, 2.5 million rivers, 2.5 million lakes, 1.5 million swamplands. So this area covers 15 Koreas. So just imagine that there is 15 times Korea like this. 8,100 glaciers. And there is an interesting phenomenon in Russia. It's called permafrost. It's called permafrost. It covers 5 million square kilometers, and it looks like this. It's frozen ground. You can't dig. It's very... Yeah. So that's why nothing grows in Russia. Yeah, and there is a very interesting lake in Russia. We call it Lake of Records. It's Lake Baikal. It's the deepest lake. Just imagine that it's 22% of the total amount of fresh water on the earth. And and it's also world's cleanest and oldest lake.
Wow.
This is a huge lake. The water is really transparent. It's the cleanest. It's the cleanest lake in the world. Yeah, and the thickness of ice can be 3 meters. So now let's go to history.
We will start with a small video. Russia was a really small country in the beginning of its history. It was a country of tiny villages with people who were arguing about the land they had. But once they decided to explore other lands, and Russia became very big. You can see it, like. And then it became really strong country during the Russian Empire, and it kept like the strongest country, the largest country during the Soviet Union. And now we have Russia. Okay. Let's start with Russian Empire. But first of all, do you know any Russian scientists? Okay. Mendeleev. Okay. Yes? What? Dmitry Mendeleev. Give him, please. Yes? Yes? Lomonosov. Okay. That's great. Let's continue. We start with Russian Empire. Exactly from several years before the beginning of Russian Empire, you can see swampland. Can you guess which city is built on swampland in Russia? Yes. Moscow. No. Yes. Yes, in 1703, Peter the Great came to this swampland near Finland and said that it would be a nice place to build a new city. And now it's a very big city with 5 million people. And here you already mentioned Mikhail Lomonosov. He started his life in small village, Holmogory, and then his will to study made him to go to Moscow. It's about 1,000 kilometers, and you can imagine how it is to do in that time. But he made it in 3 weeks without any permission of his parents. And after his learning in Moscow, he decided to open university, and now I think it is one of the most famous universities of Russia. Also, Mikhail Lomonosov was a very strong man. Once he had a fight with sailors, and could you imagine that several sailors defeated? So the next question: do you know who burned this city, Moscow? Yes. Yes. Napoleon? No. Yes. No. Yes? What? Yes, exactly. Russians themselves. They burned Moscow to save their lives because Napoleon had very strong soldiers and they came directly to Moscow, so Russians decided to burn it. But it was a mistake of Napoleon to go to Russia and exactly to Moscow because winter started and French soldiers became weak and they went back to their Paris at the same year. Okay. After that time, Dmitry Mendeleev was born and lived. He was the 17th child in his family. Can you imagine? Also, in scientific world, he is famous for his periodic table and the law of Mendeleev-Clapeyron. But actually, this law is known as Clapeyron law. However, in Russia, he is famous for suitcases. Yes, that's very strange thing. Okay. Let's move to USSR. That's Vladimir Lenin invites a young worker into the Bolshevik party. Vladimir Lenin needed more people to win Russian Empire and rule our country. And the next leader of Soviet Union was Stalin. He was a very strong leader, and he helped Russians to win the Second World War, which started in Brest for Soviet Union in the morning. But again, winter helped Russians to win war and came to the one of the capital of Europe. Also, you may know Sergei Korolev. He launched first satellite. Oh, I'm sorry, Sputnik. It's very important. And also he launched first human into space. It's Yuri Gagarin. But unfortunately his name was secret until his death because he was very important scientist of Soviet Union. So it was very dangerous to tell other countries who was one of the leaders of Russian Sputnik. Okay, then Andrei Sakharov. He designed thermonuclear weapons. And they tested it in 1953. Also, there were several other tests, but Andrei Sakharov was against arms race, and that's the reason why he got Nobel Peace Prize in 1975. Then we can move to the Russian Federation. It was after the end of the Soviet Union. We will start with Zoros Alferdov. He is a very kind person. He opened one new school and one new university. Also, he got Nobel Prize in physics for his research in the beginning of 21st century. And also this year, Vladimir Putin started to lead Russia. Here you can see Putin and you can imagine Russia. And 2004 again. But in 2010, Grigory Perelman received first Clay Millennium Prize for his solution of pancreas problem. But he decided not to take money because he said that science made him happy. And 2012, again Putin. And now, 3 days later, we have selections, so we will see who will be next.
I guess now you have a good idea of Russian geography and history, but I'll tell you a bit about the culture. You know, it is a rich one, believe me, so it's difficult to cover all the aspects. So I'll tell you about one, the culture of Russian dance. Many of you have heard such a term, not belly, but somehow Russian belly. And why is there one? How was it coined? And why is Russian belly unique? I'll try to make this a little bit clearer. So, how did ballet start? In fact, it started in France, Italy. It was around the 18th century, and then it has spread all over Europe, and finally came to Russia. But the thing is that in the 18th century, many people kind of despised ballet. They told that it is a thing for smart people and for silly also, because usually the most important thing in the whole ballet performance was dance, and music was a matter of secondary concern. So it could be light, carrying no sense, and so no one cared about it a lot. But Pyotr Tchaikovsky tried to change the thing, and he did it. He understood that music can be really important in ballet and tried to write very good music, same as for operas, for example. And so his masterpieces are ballets like Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty, Nutcracker, and I think that I'm sure that many of you know this and even have watched these performances somewhere in theaters. And if you didn't, please do, because they are very good. So this is how Russian ballet began, and the unique thing about it is this. But maybe it is better just to see this thing once than to hear thousands of words, so we'll show you a video of this. We'll show you a part of the Swan Lake. So, maybe it's better to see it in live. You can compare how good our boys are. You see the elegant movements, the majestic. I think it's difficult to find a difference, right? So, now you kind of, I think that it is a very popular part of the Swan Lake, the Dance of Little Swans. I think that many of you are familiar with it, so maybe some of you are not. And I'd like to teach you to dance this little part. And so I need 4 volunteers. And I need to say that these volunteers will get very nice Russian sweets. Maybe you know the sweet Alenka? If you don't, you can be a volunteer and try it later. So please, 4 people. I'll be your teacher and you'll dance this thing after 4 minutes, I think. Then I will choose.
I'll do it.
Oh, thank you. Come here. Oh, 3 is also here. So, everyone else won't be indifferent. Please stand up. It is a very easy dance. Please, if it is not that difficult, stand up and get closer to your neighbors. So, what you need to do, you have to cross your arms like this. Yes, right. And what were the ballerinas doing? They were just moving left and right. So, when I tell you, everyone moves this side, and will there music? One moment, please. And so this is the Dance of Little Swans, and it will be very beautiful, I'm sure. So, we stay like this, but it's problematic. So, we just begin to move this side. Then the other side. So this is not all about Russian ballet. This man, Diaghilev, was a very famous Russian choreographer, and this is the one who made Russian ballet famous all over Europe. So as I told you, ballet began in Italy and France, but after Diaghilev's performances of Russian ballet in Europe, a school of ballet was established in Europe. So what I'm trying to say that Russians have learned from Europeans and then came back with their own tradition of ballet. Oh, that's not a bad thing about ballet, but it was so an introduction for Russian folk dance. Ballet has not always been that popular in Russia because, for example, in the 10th century, in the very beginning, Russians were pagans, and they had another tradition of dancing. So it is Russian folk dance, and since Russians were pagans, the men's movements, they're always very expressive and fast, and the movements of women, they're elegant and majestic. And yeah. So I'd like to show you also an example of it, but first on the video. There is one moment, please. So there is a very famous part of Russian dance. Maybe you know it. It is called in Russian хоровод, but in English it's round delay. And I think it just looks nice. So they move so elegant that you cannot see how they move their feet, because it is like some unity. So this is the хоровод. But videos are good. Maybe you want to see an example in life. This is a little spoiler part. Maybe it's all about Russian dance for today. I think you've got a grasp of it. So you've seen the хоровод. You can try to remember this word, but it's kind of difficult maybe. So now...
Sergey Boyle. My name is Walking Russian Stereotype, and we're going to discuss some Russian stereotypes. Okay, first of all, there is a quiz. Who is Russian? Yes, exactly. Please give the prize. Nice, okay. So the first stereotype. Let's see. Russians never smile. Probably heard about it. Maybe you even met some Russian people, and you're like, oh, okay, hello, and they are, hi. So Russian people are not rude, you know. This is the Russian cultural thing that this is not a part of our etiquette to just smile to a stranger. But here you can see on the left side, there are some girls that are not smiling, probably they're in public. But on the right side, this girl and this gentleman, they are probably in some circle of close friends or even family. So in this kind of atmosphere, it's okay to smile. So this is kind of it. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know, when I was outside in the West, I noticed that a lot of Westerners drink vodka in the wrong way. They take a big cup and they pour vodka in and they just hold it and it's getting warmer and they're just sipping. It's the wrong way. I will show you how to drink vodka properly.
First, allow me to make a disclaimer that the transparent substance that will be used in this demo is a substitute, and no Russians will be intoxicated in the process. We are very lucky to observe a young Russian in his natural habitat. He is in the process of a very important daily ritual, about to drink his first shot of vodka for the day. So the ceremony is mind-boggling in its intricacy and has been owned for centuries by his ancestors. The table has been set properly with a full set of condiments and appetizers, and a manly glass that can fit the broadness of a Russian soul, and the shiny, round bottle of the refreshing drink. Please do not try to repeat this at home. Years of excruciating training in harsh weather conditions to be able to pull off such stunts. We can see our comrade take a deep breath and gulp down the first shot vigorously after an exhale. A truly worthy feat of courage, as no appetizers are allowed to be taken before the turn comes for the second try. If we are really attentive, a slight change comes in the subject's behavior, as his inner softer side becomes more visible and a jolly red appears on his cheeks. In this state, Russians are substantially more prone to metaphysical talks, hearty songs, and joyful violence. So let's exercise due caution. So a hint of salvation comes from the burn of alcohol in the poor Russian's throat as he goes for the second try of the bottle. And he's free to choose from any of the edible substances allowed by his people in the ritual. But he goes for one of the most traditional ones, which is the fish preserves. So this is a quite valid choice, quite in action. And seemingly satisfied, he immediately demands a second refill to complete the symbolic trinity of his actions, which is a very important feature in Russian cosmological picture of the world in Russian orthodoxy. So his serene companions dutifully obey him. And the last infusion, he takes the last infusion, and it fills him with powers bordering on supernatural. Before that, he has to eat a spoonful of borscht, which is a traditional Russian soup, to become even more powerful. So after doing that, with a kingly look on his face, he is ready to leave the table, and having become well versed in all world's languages, he is now ready to proceed with his previous task.
All right, let's continue with our presentation. Here you can see the map of Europe, which is mapped with so-called belts. So there is a wine belt, the red one, and beer belt, the yellow one, and the vodka belt. This is like a map of traditional drinks. Yeah, so the more you know. There are people also drinking vodka in Sweden and Poland. Right. Yeah. So there is a stereotype that there are bears walking in Russian streets. So in order to see if it's true or not, let's look at the video. Oh yes. There's no sound. Okay. It's a combination of two stereotypes: Russian dashcams and bears on the streets enjoy. And at the front, on the road, you can see a stoic Russian man. Just try to guess how he will react to a bear running just in the vicinity of meters. He sees that every day. Now there will be a group of Russian guys in the front, and they're probably thinking something like, all right, let's get back to work. Right, next one. Tracksuit. Maybe one of the most popular stereotypes about Russian people on the internet. So why do Russian people wear tracksuits so much? Well, I'll tell you, that's the perfect wear for any kind of season.
What in the last video? Enjoy some Russian dash cams. Okay, so this here you can see a typical reaction of a Russian person on the meteorite in Chelyabinsk. Actually, this video is real. This is a joke, but I wouldn't be surprised if this footage would be actually real. No. Let's continue.
Save the child. Oh, Russian hero. Okay, thank you. My part will be over shortly.
Okay, you all know that Russian language is really popular. It is first in Europe by a number of native speakers, and also it is the seventh in the world by the total number of speakers. So, and even at KAIST, I think it is the third language after Korean and English among undergraduate students. So you probably heard a lot Russian words here. So Russian language is official language in many countries, as you could see. And also there are other countries, their people speak Russian every day. So that's why it is really popular. So Russian alphabet consists of 33 letters. And you can see that some of these letters some of these overlap with Latin letters. So actually, even though you don't know Russian yet, you can read some words, and let's read it together. So, for example, can you guess what does this word mean? Yeah, this is totem, or in Russian, totem. So, even though you don't know these letters, it is easy to read, right? The next word is mama, or mama. Yeah, this is mama. So the next example will be not so easy as the previous one. So can you guess what is it? Yeah, it is tomato, but in Russian it's tomat. So it sounds not so familiar, but you still can read it, right? The written is important. But as you can see, if you don't know that this is really Russian word, you can read it like beka, but actually don't be confused. This is Vesna, that means spring. But Russian language is really difficult, even really difficult, even though it is so popular. So it's difficult in grammar and pronunciation and another thing. And I think that Korean is easier than Russian. So let's look why. For example, there are 6 noun cases in Russian. It means that every noun has 6 forms, and they are different between depending on the context. And in English, for example, it's expressed by prepositions. But in Russian, we need to use not only prepositions, but we need to change endings. And I really confuse them. I cannot write them properly, only pronounce them. But I always do many mistakes with this. Also, we have many suffixes and prefixes. So as you can see, if we want to say running, we can say it by many ways, like бежавший, 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 бегаю, бегающий, бегающий, бегающий. You can get the idea. So as you can hear now, the pronunciation of some words are difficult because there are many letters which are close together. And actually, they're not so difficult in pronunciation than they're alone, but there are many words that they come together. So, sorry, this is issue. Yeah. And we also have many long words. For example, защищающийся, покровительствующий, выкарабкивающийся. And you can hear that at the end there are many such words like you already seen. Yeah. So also in Russian, stress is really important because depending on the stress, the meaning can be different. So, and it's actually not so often in Russian, but the problem with stress is that it is really unpredictable. So the favorite task in Russian exam that students want to graduate from school is to find the right stress. And this is really difficult for Russian students, especially for me. And I memorize all words just for one day before the exam, and I failed this task. So, but Russian is not always so difficult. For example, we can change the order. This is cool, yeah. But for example, if you want to say boy ate pizza, yeah, we can say it in many different ways. And if you want to say it in English, it can change the meaning, but in Russian it's not. Yeah. So also we have only 3 tenses, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. The Russian is easy because it has only 3 tenses. Because we have many suffixes and prefixes, as you have already know. So don't think that Russian is easy. So let's learn some words. For example, the most common one is "здравствуйте." Let's repeat after me. Здравствуйте. Yeah. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте.
3, 2, 1. Здравствуйте. Yes.
But I usually say здравствуй, здорово, здрасте, здоровеньки, and so on, but actually it's not for the formal situation. If you don't memorize this word, you can use another one. It is much easier. It is привет. Привет. Yeah. Let's repeat. Привет. Привет. Yeah, right. So actually I said always say because it's easier. You can say also brief, but do not say it to not so close friend. Also, it is easy to memorize yes or no, just da и нет and нет. Yeah. And when I first came to Korea, I learned the word ne, which means da. So we actually do not say often нет, we just say не, and it is really similar to the word. Ne. So we are sometimes confused with this. Another useful word is thank you or спасибо, but do not use it. Do not speak it very slowly when you are talking with the Korean guys because they may be confused. Let's read it together. Спасибо. Cool. And there are some English words of Russian origin. You can see it. You're already familiar with the word sputnik and vodka, naut, pogrom, malt, and kefir and kosmik. Thank you very much. So, yeah, it is quiz time. Russia has many expressions, and sometimes the meaning of this expression do not really overlap with the actual meaning of the sentence, like the meaning of every word. So, yeah, who was the first one? What do you think about this phrase, like, has kind of come to see? Who was the first one?
Please, our dearest Russian-speaking friends, we know that you know Russian very well. Please let the other guys have their prize. So yeah.
Maybe the girl with the you.
Number 3.
No, that's wrong. Yeah, on the second row.
Number 2.
Yeah, right. Time to do it. But actually, before KAIST 1, I didn't know this expression. So another useful expression is yes, no, perhaps. I usually use it like 5 times per day. And I translate it to foreigners, it's really difficult. Okay, let's look at the last row, almost the last row. The girl, yeah. Wait, 4? It's not 4. Sorry, it's Russian. 2? Yeah, right. Yeah, you can say it. If you want to say no to some people you don't want to disappoint, you just say no. Yes, no, perhaps, because no, it's too like rude, too rude. Yeah. Thank you.
Tasty part of today's presentation, and I will try to be really fast because everyone must. So the Russian food that we have today, that you will be able to try right now. The first one is the unpronounceable borщ. So this is a very famous Russian soup that is made with beetroots and meat stock. And this is very important to many families in Russia as well as in many other Slavic countries. And this is a unifying tradition of all these Soviet nations that brings people together at home and makes them experience the meal together. So you will be able to try this one today. And the next dish that we have is draniki, which is also unpronounceable, but in fact it means potato pancakes. So these are potato pancakes, they are really tasty, they are really filling, and kind of popular in Russia as well as in many other Slavic countries. And they are usually consumed with sour cream or some other milky condiment. Yeah, so you'll be able to try these ones as well. And blini, or pancakes, just pancakes, Russian pancakes. And this picture is the one of but with pancakes, but we have just the usual ones, the wheat pancakes. And we will have two versions of these. One is with potatoes and mushrooms, which is like a second dish, and the one like a dessert with condensed milk and honey. Yes, so that must be really tasty, and there is not that much to tell about it, but there is a really interesting question that will be connected to the next slide, which is Maslenitsa. Maslenitsa is a kind of a festival that is held in Russia each spring, and it is meant to commemorate the start of spring, and is the last week of fun before the Great Lent starts. And the Great Lent is an Orthodox, is a time of the year in Orthodox Christianity when people don't eat meat and other animal products. So yeah, so there's no fun at that time, and because of that, during Maslenitsa, people have a lot of fun. They play snowballs, they build snow fortresses, and they eat pancakes. And therefore, this whole week is sometimes called the Pancake Week. And so we have a quiz. What do you think the pancakes consumed during this time usually represent? Yeah, so the guy over there. Yeah. No, not really. Sorry. Well, we don't have such a choice, but number 3. Yeah, number 3. That's right. That's right. Well, I mean that the Maslenitsa festival was initially a pagan tradition that was held every year before the coming of Christianity, but then it has become some kind of a merge of Christian and pagan traits, and so it's still held annually. And this is a famous picture by a Russian artist, Surikov, who depicted one of the last days of Maslenitsa and how people had fun during his time, which was in the 19th century. And yeah, so that is it. And this is, we also have a picture how we were getting ready the pancakes for today. Because, yeah, we've been painstakingly cooking these pancakes for 3 days. And it was much fun, but it was a lot of hard work. And we hope that you will be able to enjoy them fully, and that it will be very tasty. And so we have a phrase here which means bon appetit. Well, good appetite, yeah. So yeah, please enjoy the food, and this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.